I was grateful for the adversity, for the stress, for the quote unquote bad day, because it's an opportunity to learn and to grow and to maybe take something away about myself in that situation. How could I have done this better? What is going on, my friends? Welcome back to another episode of the Morning Takeaway Podcast, aka the Inside Influence Podcast. And today I have a subject on the idea of social media, and it stemmed from an experience that I had in my own life and something that I think should be talked about, because in this world of social media where it's portrayed everywhere on social media, you see these glitz and glamorous lifestyles, and all you really see is the good. Well, I think it's important to reiterate the fact that we all have bad days. We all have times where emotions get the best of us. We all have times that it's not always glitz and glamour. And don't get me wrong, I love having fun on Instagram and short form content and creating that open environment, but at the root of that is my mission to bring people in to the idea of being themselves and not caring what people think of them, right? Because I'm 6'4", 240 pounds, I'm dancing like a fool and creating this positive culture, in my opinion, to hopefully inspire somebody else that, number one, they can go to the gym and have fun and enjoy that process, but number two, ultimately, all that matters is you feeling good in your own skin and not caring what anybody else is thinking. Because the chances are at the gym, if somebody's looking at you and you're a beginner, well, they're probably not thinking anything about you. They're probably thinking what you're thinking about them. And it's this whole psychological back and forth. But without getting onto another rabbit hole of a different discussion, I want to talk about this experience that I had the other day. And again, I feel like it's normal, or it should be talked about, because again, it's normal to have these kinds of moments, I guess. And I don't want to say that because I don't like normalizing this, because it's not who I am, but it's normal for emotions to play a factor into how we react to what life gives us. So I actually shared the story on my Instagram the other day on my story as a takeaway, but I wanted to dive into it a little bit more and just be a little bit more long-winded. So as the story goes, I had, for lack of a better word or way to put it, a pretty poopy day. And I've got a lot of things on my plate, as we all do. I'll let you in, I'm currently in the middle of trying to start 2 to 3 businesses. I have a lot. It's a really busy season right now for creating content for brands, which I love because I get to integrate these organic products that I use, but it stacks on top of each other, right? It's kind of like taking out the trash, and if you don't address the situation, or if you don't, the dishes are better. If you don't address the dishes one by one, well, they're just going to let them sit there, right? And long story short, without getting too, I don't even know if that made sense to you, but the idea here was I was feeling stressed out, and someone who helps me with everything was doing the best they could to, walk me through this process and take everything one at a time, and kind of preaching my own advice, honestly. And to be completely honest, I let my emotions get the best of me. I didn't freak out on them. I didn't, make a scene, but I could feel it mustering up, and I could feel it coming out in a passive aggressive way over our 3-hour phone call. And, I wasn't able to find the clarity in that moment to be aware I was aware, and I think that's probably what ate at me even more, because it just kept building up and building up and building up. And I want to share with you that I ended up texting this person that night. And why I texted that person was because I have this process at night. I go through in my nightly journal what went well today? And quite honestly, those are the days where in that section, I just write, I had food to eat today. I had water to drink today. I woke up. There's always things that we can be grateful for and to understand that did go well. There's always something that went well, right? If you woke up that morning and you put your 2 feet on the ground, opened your eyes, that is a win. So that said, I got to going through, and the next thing I do after what went well, I go into my thoughts and kind of what's over my mind. I was just kind of debriefing, and then I get into the gratitude section, and I end my night with the gratitude, and just kind of ramble off anything. And obviously in this particular case, I was still, feeling the stress from the day, and a wave came over me that I wanted to express because I was grateful for that experience that day. I was grateful for the adversity, for the stress, for the quote-unquote bad day, because it's an opportunity to learn and to grow and to maybe take something away about myself in that situation. How could I have done this better? How could I have done X better, right? And as I got to writing in that section, I started on the text to that person and just said, hey, I appreciate you. I appreciate who you are. I want you to know that I feel like my emotions got the best of me today. And, again, I didn't do anything to them. It was just how I was acting internally, and they could feel the stress building up again. So I said, I apologize. I wasn't myself, but I am grateful for your patience. I am grateful for everything you do for me. And I'm especially grateful that we were able to experience that time together because I can grow from it. And what I mean by that is the next day when you wake up, when you put those 2 feet on the ground, when you open your eyes, you have the ability and the freedom to choose what attitude you want to take towards that day. And every day that we wake up, it's a fresh day, it's a fresh start. And the fact that I went through that experience or that adversity, stress, just the experience as a whole, I was able to use that circumstance as an opportunity to grow. And I encourage you in times in your own life when you feel that working up, if I could have done anything different, I would have just said, hey, give me a second. And some things that I do in breath work, I would take an inhale for a couple seconds, few seconds, and then really focus on my exhale. And this isn't a breathing class, but just something that I do to help me calm down in those situations and become aware of my emotions and let that energy kind of flow through me. Because if you can be aware and notice that you're noticing what's going on, your subconscious and your conscious will start working together to say, hey, let's alleviate this and it is okay, right? And so that breath technique to finish that thought would be take a few second inhale and then take a 6-second exhale and repeat that 5 times. You'll find that you might be getting out of breath when you're exhaling, but that's part of the technique. So, that was my takeaway, and I felt like it was important to share because it isn't all glitz and glamour. And I think it's relatable to each and every one of us that we go through these times of overwhelm and these times of adversity, experiences, and I think it's powerful to take some time for yourself at night to debrief, to wind down, to reflect on your day, and for lack of a better way to put it, close the page on that day so that tomorrow, when I open that journal, it's a fresh page, blank as can be, and it's a fresh slate to start the day. So that's what I have for you. If you took something away from this, I would greatly appreciate it if you shared with somebody. It's the best way you can help me out, and ultimately, hopefully, this podcast goes to a crazy amount of people one day. And the longer that you watch with me throughout the video, if you watch the full video, all the way through from start to finish, that watch time actually boosts the algorithm to help me out and help me out in the idea to reach more people. And obviously that's always my goal, is let's reach as many people as we can, and it doesn't take just me, it takes you as well. And not to sell you on YouTube, but that is how it works. And I again, I appreciate you guys. I know there's quite a few of you that tune in every week, even if you don't comment, that watch these videos, and I hope sincerely that there's some value in it for you, because again, if somebody was able to get on a microphone and a camera and change my life, I hope that I could have the slightest impact on yours. So that said, I will see you next week. I hope you're doing awesome, hope you're doing well, have an awesome freaking day, and don't forget to smile.